3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
All right, welcome to Roots of Reality. I'm your host, Ben Baumann, and today I'm going to be talking about the history of protecting American democracy. So throughout the short history that is American history, as a nation, we have been already tested many times when it comes to preserving our own democracy. Obviously, at the very beginning of this experiment that we call America, the U.S. had to protect the very idea of democracy during the American Revolution against the British Empire, where we would eventually, with the assistance of the French, win our right to become a democracy. However, a little less than 100 years later, we would find ourselves being tested once again via the American Civil War, when the southern part of the United States decided, out of fear for the eventual end of slavery, that they would rebel and break away from America and try to create their own country, the Confederate States of America, thus rejecting the nation's democratic process of resolving our differences and disputes to just try to create their own country. Luckily, the United States would defeat the Confederate States of America, once again preserving American democracy. However, less than 100 years later, America once again would find itself trying to protect the idea of democracy in its country, but also around the world. And this was during World War II, when Nazi Germany, Japan, and Italy set out to destroy and conquer the democracies of the world, as well as other nations. Yet the U.S. would play a crucial role along with the British and the Soviet Union in defeating this authoritarian alliance, yet again preserving democracies. But one of those nations aligned with the United States, the Soviet Union, who was never a democracy, would then become the next kind of democratic test for the world, as the Cold War would then ensue following World War II, where the threat of nuclear war loomed over the globe, and it represented this clash between American capitalistic democracy and Soviet communist authoritarianism. Eventually, the U.S. would be victorious after the Soviet Union would be the country to collapse in 1991. And now we find ourselves in another unique moment as a nation at a crossroads. And this really has been egged on by the rise of a figure known as Donald Trump, a former American president who became the first president in American history to break the sacred, peaceful transfer of power that had been enshrined as part of American democracy since its origins as a nation. And he did this by refusing to accept that he lost the 2020 election and by trying to overturn the election results, thus attacking American democracy and the Constitution of the United States of America. However, when he did this, there are people that emerged out of his own administration that decided that their loyalty was to the United States Constitution and not to the wannabe dictator that is Donald Trump. Thus, you had people like Donald Trump's vice president, Mike Pence, who rejected Trump's attempt to prevent the certification of the election results. You also had military leaders in Trump's administration ordering soldiers to be loyal to the Constitution and not to the Donald Trump-led attempts to overturn the election results. And you also had a Trump-friendly Supreme Court with 3 judges that were selected by Trump himself, and a conservative majority which would unanimously reject all the legal attempts by Donald Trump to overturn the election results. However, that was 2020. and this is 2024. And in 2024, America faces another threat to American democracy, as Trump is once again running for office and has said once again he will not accept an election that he loses, and that he will rewind the country once again to play this game of him trying to illegally overturn the election results if Kamala Harris is elected. And if he does happen to win, he has already pledged a plan of authoritarianism for the country, which would put the United States into this new dark ages as a nation, where the uncertainty of the future of democracy will become the major storyline. So once again, democracy is under threat in 2024, but us living in this historical moment today have the chance to protect it. So, as always, remember, billions of years led to you, so make the most of it.